Hello, good evening, all. Hello, kindly reply, guys. Is my voice is audible? Okay. In today's session, we are going to discuss about CSS. In previous classes, we have came across all the HTML tags. Is it right? Now, onwards, we are moving with CSS concepts. Okay. Now, what the word CSS stands for? Can anyone abbreviate the term CSS? Do you have any idea regarding CSS? Only one replied. Do you have any idea regarding CSS? No worries, no, if you don't know also. By today we are going to start CSS from scratch level. Okay, can we start? Okay, as somebody said, CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. The term CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. What the functionality of CSS? It controls color, like it controls like colors, spacing, layout, fonts, responsiveness, etc. It will control the colors, spacing, and fonts responsiveness to the website. Okay, without any CSS, your website look like a skeleton. Assume like HTML is like a skeleton. CSS is like styling the skeleton, like applying muscles, then some skin, then some cloth. Okay, assume like HTML is skeleton, then CSS is like combinedly HTML and CSS is like a human being without any response. Okay, now how many ways can an CSS can be applied to an HTML? Let us discuss that particular first thing. Now, let me share my screen. Is my screen is visible? We can apply CSS in three ways to an HTML page. The three ways are nothing but we can apply CSS with the three formats such as inline CSS, external CSS, and then internal CSS. The three are nothing but inline, external, and then internal. Let us discuss one by one. Before that, we have to understand how to write the CSS code. Okay, first of all, let me show you how to write an CSS code. Over here, I am having a folder. In that particular folder, I will be creating index.html file. Just I have created index.html file. In this particular index.html file, let me show you how an CSS code look like. First of all, we'll be having selector. For the particular selector, we will be providing some property, and for the property we will be assigning some value. Assume like property is nothing but, let us take weight. Property is a weight. For the particular weight, we'll be placing 10, 20, 30, like that particular format. Selector is nothing but, for this is like a person's name. Assume like selector is a person name. For that particular person, weight will be this much. Okay, this is clear. This is a simple structure. Like assume like this is a person name. For that particular person, property is nothing but it is like a weight. Assume it like a weight. For the particular weight, we will be assigning some value. Okay, this is clear. For car, let us assume selector is like a car. For the particular car, there will be some properties like color, then horsepower, like that particular format. If you make color as a property, we will be having some placing some colors over here. Is this clear? This is the basic structure for CSS. In that particular format alone, we will be writing CSS. Is this clear? Okay. Now, how to apply CSS in three formats? Let me have, just I have written a simple HTML file. In this particular HTML file, I will be making a heading tag. In the h1, I will be making hello. Just I have written an HTML code with h1 tag. Okay. Now, I will be applying styles to this particular h1 tag. First of all, let us discuss about inline CSS. Inline CSS. Inline is nothing but we will be writing the style in the particular HTML tag itself. This is known as inline. In the line itself, we are writing the style. So it is known as inline CSS. Okay. In the HTML tag itself, we will be writing CSS. For example, let me apply style. For this particular style, I will be applying some color as red. Okay. Just I have mentioned a heading tag. For the particular heading, I have written style in the particular line itself. This is known as inline CSS. When I run, I can able to get the hello in red color. Let me show you. This is clear. As you can able to see, the hello is in red color. Okay. This is known as inline CSS. Now, I will be removing this particular line over here. Just I will be writing style in the heading tag. In the head tag alone, you have to write the style tag. In this particular style tag, I will be writing style like h1. For the h1, I will be applying some style. The style is nothing but color as red. Okay, for the h1 tag, just I have applied color as red. This is internal CSS. Internal CSS nothing but I'll be writing the styles in the HTML page itself, not in the line, but I will be writing the style in the HTML page itself. This is known as internal CSS. Okay, if I write the CSS in the tag itself, then it is known as inline CSS. If I write the styles in the HTML page in the heading section, then it will be known as internal CSS. Okay, when I run this particular code also, I will be getting the same color. Okay, is this clear? The difference between inline and internal CSS. Kindly reply so that I can understand you guys understood. Is my teaching is okay? Can you understand what I am saying and all? Is my teaching is okay? Kindly reply. Okay. If you write the CSS in the tag itself, then it is known as inline CSS. If you write the style tag by using style tag in the heading text section, then it will be known as internal CSS. Then we have another type which is external CSS. External CSS is nothing but I will be creating a new file which is style.css. The extension for the style file will be .css. In this particular file, I will be writing the style h1, then color as green, then an semicolon. Just I will be removing this particular style. Just I have written the CSS in an external file over here and the HTML file. When I run, I cannot able to see any colors to the hello because I have not included the CSS in the HTML file. I can able to run only the HTML file. I cannot able to run the style file. Is it right? I cannot directly able to run the CSS file. The Chrome only understood the HTML file only. It cannot able to run the style file directly. So for that particular cases, just we have to call the CSS file in the HTML page. How can we call the CSS file? Just link by using link rel, which is style sheet. Then we have to provide the location of the style sheet. Directly having the particular in the particular folder I am having style.css file, so I have called directly. When I run, I can able to get the hello in green color. Is this clear? We will be having the CSS separately in a separate file. We will be calling the CSS into the HTML page. Then it is known as external CSS. Is this clear? Now tell me which is the better practice to write CSS. Which is the better practice to write CSS? Whether to write the in the tag itself or in the heading tag or external file. Hello, what's your opinion? Just I'm asking your opinion. From three, which will be better? External, internal, or inline? Kindly reply. I'm waiting for your replies. Hello, is my voice is audible? Hello, whether my voice is audible? Okay, yes. External CSS will be the best practice in order to write the CSS. Why? Because we can utilize the same CSS for other classes also. In the HTML file, we can make so many h1 tags. We can able to write n number of heading tags. For all the heading tags, it will apply the green color. If you write inline CSS, for the every heading tag, you should write the CSS. You should write the inline CSS for every heading tag. So external CSS will be more preferred. Even if you place the heading tag, we cannot able to use the CSS for another files as well. As of now, I am having only one HTML file. If you have 2 or 3 HTML files, you cannot able to use the same CSS if you place the heading tag. If you place the style in a heading tag, you cannot able to make use in other files. You have to place all the CSS in all the HTML files. So we should use the external CSS. This is clear about 3 formats of CSS, how to apply 3 types of CSS to a HTML file. Now can we move with all the HTML concepts, which is how to apply CSS to the elements. Okay, okay. As we have 3 types of selectors. This is clear. We can apply CSS with the help of 3 types of selectors. First one is ID selector, and then class selector, and then element selector. You just want to know this particular 3 types of selectors. Let me understand you about these 3 particular selectors. First one is element selector. Element selector is nothing but you will be applying the styles to the particular HTML tags directly. You can able to see this h1 is an heading tag. You can apply the CSS directly to the tag. This is also a selector. This is property, then this is value. We can apply CSS directly to the tags. This is known as element selector. This is known as element selector. Element selector is nothing but we will be applying the CSS directly to the tag. If you have any paragraph tag, for the paragraph tag, I can able to write the CSS directly by using P, which is a paragraph tag. For the paragraph, I will be increasing the font size as 40 px as a font size, and then color as blue. When I run, you can able to see the difference. I have not saved the file. Save. When I run, you can able to see the difference. This is clear. This is known as element selector. This is known as element selector. Now, without this element selector, we can apply styles, which is known as class selector. With the help of class selector also, we can apply styles. Over here in the h1 tag, I will be writing a class. I will be writing a class as heading. Just class is an attribute. For the attribute, I am assigning value as heading. For the heading, I have to write the CSS. I will be copying this particular heading. For the heading, we are applying class selector. As you can able to see, in the class, I have mentioned the heading. So in the CSS file, I have to use periodical operator. Just a dot, then the heading, then the parameters, then property, and then value. For the color as green, orange. When I run, I can able to get the heading as orange color. This is clear. In the HTML file, I have called a class attribute. For the attribute, I have assigned heading as the value. For the heading, I have applied CSS. This is known as class selector. Class selector will be using dot. Okay, class selector will be using dot. And then we're having another type of selector, which is ID selector. ID selector. For the ID selector, we'll be applying ID. ID equals to, this is para. For this, I will be providing para as a value. Then for the para, I have to write the CSS. For the CSS, for the ID selector, we should use hash operate. Then para, then braces. Then I will be applying color as red. When I run, I can able to see red color for the paragraph. Is this clear? The difference between class selector and then ID selector. In the HTML file, for the class selector, you should mention a class and then the value. For the value, we should assign CSS. For ID selector, you should mention ID and then value. For the particular value, you should assign CSS. For the class selector, we should be using dot. For the ID selector, we will be using hash. For the element selector, we will be not be using anything. This is clear. Hello. Is this clear? Anybody have any doubts regarding this? Only one person is replying. Remaining. What about remaining? Is this clear about ID, then class, then element? We have came across three selectors, which is class selector, ID selector, and then element selector. Element selector is nothing but we will be applying directly styles to the tags, and class selector is nothing but we will be using class attribute and then assigning a value. For the value, we will be writing styles, and then ID selector. For the ID selector, we will be using ID attribute. For the ID attribute, we will be assigning some value. For the value, we will be applying styles. And then we have another type of selector, which is group selector. Group selector is nothing but we will be applying styles to the group tags. For the h1 tag, for the h2 tag, then for the paragraph tag, we will be applying some styles. I will be changing the font family as something. I will be commenting out this. I have not done anything. H1, we have H1 in the same format. I will be writing some H2. For the H2, hello world. When I run, you can able to see the font. For this all elements, the font has been changed. Let me apply some color. Blue. When I run, for the three elements, I will be getting the same blue color. Is this clear? This is grouping selector. This is group selector. We will be grouping the tags and then applying the CSS. Font family is nothing but we will be applying some fonts. As you wish, you can apply n number of fonts. We will be having n number of fonts. You can apply as your wish. Okay, this is all about grouping selector, and then we have another type of selector which is universal selector. Universal selector is nothing but it will apply styles to all over the HTML page. Universal selector is nothing but there will be no particular format. Let me show you. Just we'll be placing a star, then braces. This star indicates universal selector. Star indicates universal selector. For the all the HTML page, this universal selector will be applicable. I will be applying some background color as blue. For the entire page, the background color will be blue. This is clear. The universal selector will apply the whole page, CSS to the whole page by placing star. We have came across element selector, class selector, ID selector, then group selector, and then universal selector. And then we have attribute selector. Attribute selector is nothing but for the attributes we will be applying styles. As I said, this is attribute. Class is an attribute. For the attribute there is heading as a class. In the same format we'll be having different types of attributes. Let me show you for the in the input field. Let us take example of input. Input type as text. As you can able to see, input type as text. Just I have mentioned an input field. When I run, I can able to get an input field. As you can able to see, this is an input field. For this input field, I can write styles. How I can write an styles? In the sense, in the style, I'll be writing style like input. For the input, where type as text, type equals to text. For the type is text, I'll be applying the style. Border as 2px solid white. Just I have mentioned solid white. When I run, I can able to get an input field with white color. This is clear. For the input field also we can apply styles. This is known as attribute selector. For the attributes also we can apply styles. This is clear. We can apply CSS to the elements also, which is attributes. These are known as attributes. In the HTML file, these are all known as attributes. ID, class, type, then in the image tag, style, img, src, alt, these are all known as attributes. Here chart set, name, and all these are known as attributes. For those attributes, if you want to apply styles, we will be using attribute selector. Does anybody have any doubts regarding this? Today we are going to discuss only this type of attributes only. Different types of attributes only. We have came across element selector, class selector, ID selector, then group selector, then universal selector, and then attribute selector. At the same time, we have pseudo class selector. Pseudo class selector. Pseudo class selector is nothing but the CSS will be applied on changes. Let me show you. I will be making a simple button. For the button, I will be mentioning hello, click me like a word. Hello, click me. click me as in text. For the button, I'll be writing style button on hover, background color as black, text as white. Just I have written a simple functionality like I'll be having a simple button. As you can able to see, I'll be having a simple button. When I hover on this particular button, I'll be getting a background color as black and then color as white. As you can able to see, the changes will be on hover. As you can able to see, when I hover on this particular button, I can able to see the changes. The background is applying like a black color, and then the text is been in the white color because I have mentioned button. This indicates hover. When I hover on the particular button, the background color will be black and then color as white. So when I hover, the button background color changes to black and then text as white color. Is this clear? This is pseudo class selector. Is this clear? Anybody have any doubts regarding these particular selectors? I have completed with the selectors. These are all the selectors in CSS. Hello. Does anybody have any doubts regarding this particular selectors? I want to know now. Please reply. I should get reply from all the for in the meeting. Okay. Today everybody should go through all the selectors and then should make a simple HTML file and then write CSS with all the types of selectors. Okay. This is the simple task for you to create a simple HTML page and then write CSS by using all the types of selectors. Okay, is this clear? The task is simple. Just you want to create a simple HTML page and then write CSS by using all the HTML which is selectors. Apply styles by using all the types of selectors. Okay, is this clear? By tomorrow everybody should submit the task in the WhatsApp group. Before wind upping the session, does anybody have any doubts regarding these particular selectors? Okay, thank you. We'll wind up the session today. Then we will be continuing with some other topic by tomorrow. Thank you.